Blessings, everybody. This is MahanrajMarcia coming to you with the great divine cosmic journey. We are entering into Scorpio season. Why is Scorpio season, and this one in particular, such a powerhouse? Well, Scorpio is a water sign, and it's going to be swimming right alongside big players in Cancer and Pisces. Watery energy means depth, intuition, transformation. It is a fixed quality, meaning persistence, deep roots, tapping into what's hidden rather than the superficial. This next 30 days, Scorpio's like, let's get real. Let's get real. Now, remember, we come off the fall equinox. We work on our relationships. We're also knowing that we are wrapping up the year. We are wrapping up the season, right? We're going to have all this work is going to lead us to the winter solstice, where we have 3-eye Atlas coming. And that's another subject that is going to be, it is already working on expanding you into trusting love. Unconditional love is the superpower. But Scorpio has the truth serum, and what each of us needs to get real about, drop, and move forward with. Scorpio it rules the underworld, right? So it's the unseen, it's the mystery. This season in particular is going to invite you to dive beneath the surface and see what's out of you. So in practical terms, power, shadow work, emotional truth, rebirth, knowing beyond what the ego sees, those are the big highlights. I'm so excited to be starting our womb series on November 5th, 4 Tuesdays, every other Tuesday in November and December, in the middle of this water. Your intuition and healing capacity is being held by the energy of the Divine Mother. I'm also going to do, since that's just for ladies, one afternoon in November that is going to be for trauma release and clarity, because as we release this dense energy that we're holding, clear, steps, energies, ahas are waiting for us. They're waiting for us, and I want to help you get there. So the essentials to bring enlightenment, knowledge during this Scorpio vibe is to just really know it's going to be intense, and it's going to be about the truth. What isn't about, this isn't like about a light banter by any means. This is about buried wisdom. It's about realness. And Scorpio is asking, what are you hiding? And what do you truly value? Scorpio season invites us all to emotional alchemy. Scorpio season invites you to let go so you can regenerate. We see the scorpion, but Scorpio is also known as the rising phoenix. So it is the tear down all the way to the dust, only to rise again, bigger, beautiful, whole, like you've never been before. Mystical openness. This is the big thing for the next couple months. Now, it's so exciting. I'm so excited because this is taking us to the winter solstice and then that final leg to spring, because spring is really when we begin again. We are going to be so productive in our Sagittarius, Capricorn, Pisces, and Aquarius seasons. And this is the work to get us there. This is it. So, mystical openness, I don't know another way to term it, with this so much water. And this is the water. So like even right now today, so the sun is at 0 degrees, and it's going to be obviously every day getting higher and starting to touch other things, and the other planets are moving around. So right now, what we have is so many players talking right off the bat. They're in the high degrees of Scorpio. So Mars is at 21 degrees. Mercury, our mind, is at 23 degrees. Black moon Lilith is at 23 degrees. The moon right now is at 23 degrees, Scorpio. Now, there's going to also be some retrogrades so that some of these littler planets stay in it, stay in the conversation. At the same time right now, we have the North Node in Pisces at 17 degrees. It's definitely talking and having a conversation with Mars. But it's also leaning into Mercury, your mind, and what are you fearing? Also, Saturn is at 26 Pisces. Neptune is at 29 degrees Pisces. And then we got the Lone Ranger, but bringing in the third water sign, Jupiter, is at 24 degrees Cancer. This is very, very tight between Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, Black Moon, Lilith, and the Moon. You're feeling it. And this is a big conversation about you spiritually growing up. It's so weird. If you really lean into this energy right now, some of your bad habits, and here's some bad habits. Being afraid. Thinking too much about your future. Focusing on what you don't have. I know you guys that listen to me, you are spiritually more mature than that. And what's happening in the Scorpio season, especially with Saturn being the discipline in the God code Pisces, you're going to get slapped down because it's kind of like Divine Ma knows you can let it go. You can do better. Now, this is a great time to, I do these things called Tower of Light healings. You get a little mini reading so you could talk. So you send me the question about what you're afraid of. The reading is done. Then you come in. For those of you that are local, you come in. For those on Zoom. But then we energetically, through sound, breath, and Mary Magdalene's Emerald Fire Reiki and messages to you, we get to it. We come up with ways that you can show your soul mind discipline around letting these habits go. The biggest thing is, we have this level of politics and weird stuff to be distracted with. It is really, that's its only job, is to distract you. But also your personal stuff. This is really about getting honest about how much you are out of the moment, because the freshness, the new ideas, the Scorpion mystic priestess blow your mind shit can only be found in the stillness in the present moment. So this is a good time. If you don't make an appointment with me, make it with somebody, because everything, all of the energy right now, it's going to see you through. We'll work with that in the healing. And you can work with that in your meditations. Yeah, you can tell. I'm just like, woo! Okay, so it's also going to be about power and trust. Scorpio is always about power and trust because it rules that 8th house. Things that are kept from us, things that are owed to us, those kind of things come up. Scorpio teaches us to trust, though. Ultimately, I had a great conversation with one of my girlfriends last night. And she was like, why would we not have faith? Why would we not have trust? Right? Because most of the things you've worried about haven't come true. And I know there's a few of you, I have clients like, yeah, no, but they have come true. What I worried about. Yeah, but you're still standing. And if you let go of that being right, that fucked up shit happened, that you would notice how you can handle it, what it's teaching you, and how it's taking you higher. So this is about Scorpio is teaching us to trust ourselves, to trust God, to trust the process, and to own our own knowing. This is about stepping into our power, right? Without apology. Depth over surface. Surface is not going to cut it right now. Nobody wants to hear about your lawn or your doctor's appointment. They want, how you doing? How you doing under there? Meaningful conversations, meaningful inner work, meaningful transformation. It is, if you don't journal, start. And I know sometimes it's like, if you've never done it, I have done it on and off. But when I feel stuck, I open up my journal and I I need to talk to you. I need to start writing. I need to share my life. And I'm having a hard time starting. I'm having a hard time even writing. Help me. And all of a sudden, my nervous system quiets down. My heart opens and my mind just dumps and enlightens and tells me and shows me things, especially when I ask questions and let my higher self answer, takes me to places that I so need. This is where shadow meets light. It's about the exploration of fear, of loss, of hidden desires, but also of empowerment, of rebirth, of what emerges when the dark is illuminated. This is where we're at. This is about entering the underworld for a huge awakening. And with this major water trine, a trine is a 120-degree angle between planets and is very harmonious, and it's all about flow. So what has felt stuck, especially emotionally, it's going to move. And it's not just because of the Scorpio sun. It's because of all those other planets I mentioned that are in the water. And they all have different personalities, yes? You know, Cancer is the maternal. She's wanting to show you the wisdom of the eternal mother. You are being assisted into healing right now. Saturn is saying there has to be parameters. And those parameters are being activated with Mercury and Scorpio saying, we're not going to dwell in a mind that thinks things that are simply not true. It's almost like we're thinking these things for the entertainment value. The mind wants something to do. When we are at this precipice of really understanding that just because the mind is talking, it doesn't mean any of it's accurate. It's repeating what it's heard on YouTube. It's repeating different versions of your childhood trauma. It's repeating things that it's got your attention with because it figures that's what you want. Right? None of that lines up as actually being accurate or present day information. So it takes discipline, and this is why we do Kundalini yoga. There is a whole runway with this energy of Kundalini yoga. At first, it gets you excited. It really illumines. Then it starts to bring big waves of awareness. Then it literally pinpoints these characteristics, those types of thoughts, this trauma from your childhood. And it's not like therapy. It's all energy. So those things just come up as energy baubles, right? And then it also provides the energy to literally, like radiation, get into the center of them and blow them apart so you can see the way they are entangled in your system, and then it takes you higher. And then when you're higher, you're okay. You're seeing your life from a different version. It's like jumping a timeline. And then the whole process comes again. Those of you that have been at this process of Kundalini yoga, you are in this phase where maintenance is really what you're doing. You've done a lot of work. If you haven't ever accomplished, some days together of doing a morning practice, I really recommend at least 2 times at the studio in person, especially during this trying year that is preparing us for a humdinger in 26. I think this one is actually more chaotic and more painful. I think 26 is really going to be about actually getting somewhere with a new vision for the whole world. But I think there will be some final breakdowns. And anyways, what matters most is how you're doing. How are you doing? What are you contributing energetically? Because we need all of us to know the beauty of our love that dwells within us, to know the gifts that we have come here to share with each other, to work upon the hypnotic programs that have made us feel like we believe things that we actually don't. All the programs about religion and race and money, those are the big ones that teach us to doubt ourselves, persecute others, and bottom line, be separate. This water next 2 months is big. Why are we seeing this now? Well, according to astrology and the movement in October and November, with Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, Mars and Mercury and Lilith in Scorpio, these water signs are all lit up and forming supportive trines. This isn't just surface emotion. This is getting deep. This is the part. This is the next 2 months where those things that you can't understand why you keep doing it. You can't seem to let go of that way of thinking. Now you can. And GDF wants to be with you. I want you to always know, because there's so much wobbliness, if there's something that you need and you can't financially afford it, always reach out to me. I'm always going to do whatever I can for you. But this is magic, y'all. This is magic, and it starts today. Come see me. We'll be celebrating flow, intuition, and the psychic wave of upgrades that are coming to the planet on Saturday. I lead a higher self meditation at 8:45, and then the magical class will be at 9:30. I love you so much. Satnam.